What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all staying relatively virus-free. Listen, there isn't a lot to talk about at the moment, but I've been sent an email for a survey that was run by Claret and Hugh. Sean Wexton over there, someone that you may have heard on our podcast. If not, go and check out the podcast with Sean. Me and him clash heads quite a lot, and it was nice to have a little chat and get everything out in the open. But he put out a survey. Now, 11,620 people around that number answered this survey, and it was a survey surveying the London Stadium and the move to it, and how. Look, there's 21 questions, and my idea was we're going to go through each one. Before I start, you see me wearing a jumper here. We've got a online store. Please go and check that out. We've also got a Patreon, which is in the link in the description down below. There will be a Patreon launch video coming up very soon. But if you wish to support us and support the content, go and check that out. There's lots of benefits to becoming a Patreon. So without further ado, let's go into the London Stadium Survey 2020. I've looked a little look through it. This is not very good reading for the owners of the stadium. So question one, it's a basic question. You'll see when I put up the stuff over the screen. I don't know whether to put the bar or the responses. It's a pretty big file. Maybe I can get both in. So what your age is. So 22% 18 to 24, 18.5% 25 to 34, 14.98% 35 to 44. So it covers all sorts of ranges. The youngest, 18 to 24. I'm not sure why there's no younger than that, but the youngest is the most predominant age that go to the London Stadium, which is quite surprising. 22.67%, 18 to 24 that go to the London Stadium. Only 0.67% 75 or older, and only 5.22% 65 to 74. Question two, how long have you been supporting West Ham? Again, a range of ages here. 2 to 5 years is 0.18%. Most predominant one I can see stands out to me here is 41 to 50 years, which is 21.49%. 31 to 40 years, which is my category, 17.73%. So a lot of the older generation still answering these surveys. Nice to see that they're active online still. 41 to 50 years is a long time. Question three, how many games have you attended at the London Stadium this season? Now, 29.1%, 0.1% said all of them. So pretty high percentage there. 2 to 5 is 20.4%. So people just dropping in casually 2 to 5, maybe for the big games. Maybe that's all that they can muster up. But there's a range of responses there. But 29.1% say all of the games. So this is where we're going to start getting into the tasty parts. The questions that, when asked by the club, they say that they are far and beyond in favour of the move. Right, so question four. After almost 4 years at the London Stadium, do you believe the move was a good idea? 11,624 answered this question. 30 skipped it. 66.89% says no, it wasn't a good idea. The results are obviously going to play a big part in that. 17.63% say they're not sure, and only 15.49% say yes, it was a good idea. Now that kicks in the teeth the theory of Karen Brady, who says that they oversaw the most successful stadium migration ever, because as you see, like they want to call us customers. The customer's always right. 66.89% say that this wasn't a good idea. Question five. When will the London Stadium feel like our proper home? Now, this is it's a bit of a loaded question, really, because I don't think it'll ever feel like our home personally. maybe it take years and years and years. So 6.81% says it already feels like our home. You got to respect that. 0% said next season. 4 to 5 seasons, 11.73%. 11.93% says 6 to 10 seasons. 12.37% say more than 10 seasons. And 57, well, this is a bit of a damning stat actually, 57.17% say it will never feel like our home. There is a lot of unrest at the moment amongst the support. I'll give them that for, a little bit of leeway, but 57.17% of people said it would never feel like our home. This is 11,000 and odd surveyed. 6,620 say it would never feel like home at the London Stadium. That's bad. That's bad. They need to look at these results and sort of make a plan if they're to say. Question 6: if you are a season ticket holder, do you plan to renew for next season? Look, the ones that stand out here is people that ain't a season ticket holder, 34.27%. Obviously, we're only going on a people survey. They're not at the stadium. So 35% say that they don't hold a season ticket. 3% say they're on the waiting list. Puts a little bit of a question mark on the 50,000. 23.68% are undecided. Now, if they're undecided by now, I don't know what's going to happen because they are... It doesn't look like there's going to be any more football this season. Only 12.25%. I say only, but that is a big stat when you think about, in context of the London Stadium is 60,000. So 12.25% off the top of my head would be about 7,300 and something. If 12.25% of them didn't renew, 7,200, 300 or so will be giving it up. 25.45% say they will be renewing, which is again is surprising. So if you add them together with the Not Shores, just under 50% plan to renew their season tickets, and 1% say they've already got a multi-year or they've already renewed it anyway. Question 7: if a season ticket holder may have you ever used the ticket exchange functionality for matches you can't make? Now, personally, I don't use the ticket exchange. I wouldn't use. I go to every game anyway, but if I'm not there, I just pass it on to a friend or something like that. Probably illegally. I'll probably get castrated for this. 14% say they never miss a game. 19.99% say, talking about 20% of people say sometimes they use it. Only 7.78% say they use it every time. 21.33% say that it's not financially worth it. Now, I've seen these tickets. I've seen people what they've got for their tickets in club cash, which you can't get out for real cash anyway. And like sometimes they offer like £7 for them and all that sort of stuff. Not worth it. Not worth it. You give it back to them for £7. They'll sell it on for 30. It's not worth it in my opinion. I'd rather give it to somebody. 27.25% say I sell or forward it onto a family or friend myself. And 8.73% say they prefer to leave their seat empty. Now, I don't know why you would prefer to leave your seat empty. Surely there's someone out there that would want your ticket. Would I go through the club? No, not for club cash and not for the prices they pay when you know that they've already sold you the ticket and they're going to sell it on for bigger profit. I think that's a bit of a piss take myself. Question 8, what is your view on the general matchday atmosphere at the London Stadium in terms of volume and support for the team? Now, this is 42.31% say it's average. Only 3% say it's excellent. 17.96% say it's good. And 35.92% say it's poor. Poor and average is obviously the predominant. It's down to the way that they placed people. It's down to the people that they seated together. I know they tried to change it, but to be fair, I go to a lot of games, home and away, and the home end normally is very quiet these days. It's more like a culture. Is it because they're driving out the working class? I don't know, but winning more games probably would be would help that along. But at the moment, poor to average is the overwhelming consensus. Question 9, what is your view on the quality of stewarding and security taken into account the last game you attended at the London Stadium? Now, we all know that there was a big balls up by the club on the stewarding at the start. It's improved somewhat, but according to a lot of people, 79.1% think it's still poor or average, which is another damning stat. Only 18.31% say it's good. 2.59% say it's excellent. There are some good stewards there. The bully boys that used to parade around the stadium early doors seem to have disappeared right now. They're not in use so more, but you know, I do talk to stewards sometimes. Very inconsistent is my view on the stewarding. Sometimes they're decent, sometimes they're good. Usually the ones from the bowling are very good. But there's some on the gates and stuff that are searching people that, for my mind, don't really know what they're doing. But average to poor again, which is not good news for the club. Question 10, what is your view on the quality choice of price of food and drink within the London Stadium? Another damning result. 89.21% think it is either poor or average. That is a huge amount of people. The pricing points are ridiculous in the London Stadium. They're ridiculous, to be quite honest with you. And I know why the pricing points are so bad in there. It's because the LLDC pay charge an absolute fortune for rent now. We may be doing something next season in regards to that. Keep your eye on that. But yeah, poor or average is the consensus. 9.75% say it's good, and only not even 1% of people think it's excellent. Price points are, food inside the stadium, I think is quite, for football. Beer's very expensive, but you get a hot dog for a £5 and all that. But the stuff outside, the vendors outside, the sort of independent vendors, that's the good thing about Upton Park, is independent vendors could pay somebody on their driveway a couple of quid surrounding the stadium and keep their prices relatively low. But you're talking about the burgers and the fish and chips and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes you're paying in excess of 10, 11, 12. I think I paid 12 quid before for pie and mash. I ain't seen a pie and mash since. It's because the LLDC charge so much for the rental space on their stadium, which is piss poor. That needs to change. Question 11. What is your experience with the London Stadium sightlines and views of the pitch from your seat? Now this, apart from the excellent, is the most even thing I've seen, because poor is 30%, 30.94%, average is 30.45%, and good is 29.18%. Only 9.43% say it's excellent. You can see everything, but these the ones that are saying poor or average are probably the ones on the arches that are quite a distance away. So very mixed review there, very even. Question 12, what is your experience of travelling to and from the London Stadium, taking into account walking, public transport or car? 35.12% say it's poor, 29.5% say it's average, 27.37% say it's good, and only 8.101% say it's excellent. The walk from the station, I mean, for a lot of older people, it's a trick, mate. You know what I mean? Like, I used to walk from Canning Town to Upton Park back in the day, quite easily. I was excited for what I was going to see. I'll be honest with you, if I go to the Golden Grove or something, you're walking probably about a mile and a half to get to the stadium. It's vast. It's too much for some people. They wouldn't be so bad. I know, there's other station alternatives like Pudding Mill Lane and Hackney Wick and all of that sort of stuff. But in terms of, you know, ease of access from Stratford, which is going to be the most prominent station, you know, it is quite a slap, to be quite honest. They could do one right on the doorstep, if I'm honest. It is quite a trek. It's got better since Westfield opens its doors. You remember a couple of years ago, Westfield wouldn't let you go through, and that was piss poor. Question 13. How do you rate your overall match day experience at London Stadium? 2.82% think it's excellent. 20.46% say it's good, which is a surprisingly high number. But again, 41.29% think it's average, and 35.42% say it's poor. So between average and poor is 77%, which again doesn't look good for the owners. Question 14. West Ham has been criticised for not paying enough to contribution to the running cost of the London Stadium. Do you think West Ham should pay more? Very even responses on that. 28.5% say they don't know. 38.91% say no. And 32.59% say yes. Listen, that is the deal at the end of the day. I've heard this so many times. They get it very cheap. But that is the deal that they mustered up with the government. I think it was a mistake by the government. My personal opinion is one day they'll get the stadium, because I think it was a loaded deal to make it look like they're losing money. Obviously, it's never going to cover the costs. Cost like £8 million or something to convert it back to football and to and from football or something, when it should have cost like in the thousands of pounds. Bad mistake by the government. They don't seem to get many things right when it comes to predicting how much things will cost. But fair play to the owners. I'm going to say this: they cracked that deal with them, and you know that's the deal, and it's not going to change. It seems to be watertight. It was done with the last mayor, who happens to be the Prime Minister right now, and the current mayor doesn't like it. That's tough titties. The contract's already signed. Listen, I don't want to see them being charged more. Although I'm a taxpayer, it'll only be passed on to us. If they decided they're going to double, treble the rent and all of that sort of stuff, we'll end up paying for it. So, you know, that's the government's fault for cracking themselves a bad deal. Question 15. Do you think West Ham will ever become a regular top six club within the next 5 years as a result of the move to the London Stadium? 87.65% say no, definitely not. Only 3.63% say yes, and 8.272% say they're not sure. No, we're not gonna do that. In the next 5 years, possibly, if the owners go. But another damning result really for the club. 87.65% say no, they won't. Question 16, do you think West Ham will kick into the next level and become a top four team? 86.5% say no. 10% are not sure. That's less than the other one. And 3.38% say yes. It's not going to happen unless there's a moment. These are the ones that are going to be important to the board. Do you think the West Ham board are doing a good job? 0.5% say excellent, 4.09% say good, 2.21% say average, and 73.19% say poor. So much for the silent majority. That's why there's so many protests. I'm in the poor category myself. It answers itself. How well does West Ham value as a supporter and listen to fans' concerns? They don't listen to fans' concerns, and it shows in this table. 70.68% say poor, 23.82% say average, 4.48% say good, and 1% say excellent. They just don't. I don't know where these people must be club people who are saying. And question 19, sorry, I thought there was 21. Anything to add? Now, there are some comments over on another sheet, thousands of them, matter of fact. We'll be looking through some of them later on a bit live with some of our patrons. As I said, if you want to go down in the link in the description, exclusive content. We'll be going through some of these answers with some of our patrons, and we'll be reading them out and having a good old shifty through them. Thank you very much for joining us for this video. What do you think of the consensus? Not good, looking good for the club. Do you agree with it? Leave your comment in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I know it's going to be a bit of a dry period, but thanks for sticking with us. If you're new around here, subscribe. We will be having content. We're having all sorts of meetings over the next weekend to see the content we are going to do. But once again, thank you for joining us, guys. One thing left to say. Come on, you irons.